With the amount of scams in real life, you'd think video games would provide some kind of refuge. Alas, there are plenty of crooks in the gaming world as well. At least some aren't without their charm. Let's go ahead and take a look at notorious shopkeepers and merchants in gaming. Bomb Master Cannon, The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker. Upon arriving at Windfall Islands' bomb shop, you'll be shocked to learn just what kind of prices are on offer. For 10 bombs, you need to pay a whopping 10,000 rupees. Sure, he's the last bomb maker left, but that's enough to crowdfund 10 of Ganon's deaths. Thankfully, once Tetra and her crew give him the ol' rundown, Bomb Master Cannon sees fit to lower his prices. Unscrupulous Merchant, Dragon Age Origins. In Dragon Age Origins, you'll come across an unscrupulous merchant in Lothering who's arguing with a sister. Turns out the latter doesn't like the prices on offer. Depending on the options available, the Grey Warden can force the merchant to lower his prices and open for business. Here's the rub though, his prices don't actually go down, even if you support the merchant and run the sister out of town. Bello, Cursula, and more. Enter the Gungeon. The Gungeon seems like it's built to rip you off. Bello, who runs the most basic shop, charges a bomb for the drill and nod key, though you can steal the former if you're crafty enough. Cursula sells items that, well, curse you. Then there's Bowler, who will provide items as prizes provided you can clear his shooting range minigame with a decent enough performance. It's not easy though. Tom Nook, Animal Crossing. Another cuddly animal creature in a bustling town? No, Tom Nook is pure evil. First, he sells you a house on a mortgage that's so absurd you basically have to take a loan. Then, he has you work at his shop part-time to pay off that loan. Enjoying the job security? Boom, laid off, but you can still shop at his store and sell him items. Nook has had a rough life, for sure, but there's got to be a limit to all of this. Marcus, Borderlands 2. We're a little torn on Marcus because it's not like he's actually trying to rip you off. However, he is a corrupt merchant, playing both sides in the Bloodshots and Crimson Raiders conflict. He even shoots a customer in the leg when the latter tries to return a gun as part of his intro cinematic. I mean, that part was cool and all, but what the hell, Marcus? Kadala, Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls. Kadala doesn't really become available until you finish the main story. After that, she's basically the biggest sink for blood shards that you can imagine. Though mint is an alternative to all the gear that can potentially drop from Greater Rifts, not to mention recalibrating with Kanai's Cube, Kadala's chances of decent gear are just meh. It's not like blood shards are all that hard to come by, but still. Brennan, Castlevania 64. Castlevania 64's Brennan is far from your average merchant. He's actually a demon who establishes some manner of business in Dracula's castle. You'd think he'd be different from his murderous brethren. Alas, if you spend roughly 30,000 gold and purchase too many items, he'll appear as a boss battle and try to lay claim to your soul. Key emphasis on try. Charlieton, Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door. Charlieton, try to guess what that word plays off of, is a rather odd sort in Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door. He can provide some interesting badges and occasional rare items, albeit at crazy prices, but he seems mostly inconsequential for your needs. It's in the pit of 100 trials where he's truly crooked. With healing items required as you venture deeper, Charlieton simply jacks the prices up higher, knowing you have no other options. Moneybags, Spyro 2 and 3. Far from being fuzzy and warm, this bear takes every opportunity to shake down Spyro. Debuting in Spyro 2 Ripto's Rage, Moneybags charges gems for just about everything. Opening doors, progressing forward, new skills, and even releasing Spyros as allies when they're captured. Moneybags only understands one language, and it's, well, shock of all shocks, money. Fortunately, the player gets some measure of revenge on him in Spyro 3 Year of the Dragon. Almost all shops, Fable 3. Fable 3's shops don't exactly rip you off, but they're still fairly poor overall. Want to buy items in bulk? Well, have fun walking up to each item and purchasing them separately. Also, each shop only really has a handful of items available. Instead of a terrible spending experience, there's just a completely barren one. Sidorovich, Stalker. Known for being the one guy who can obtain goods for those inside the zone, Sidorovich isn't exactly the most upstanding businessman. He charges high prices for weapons and will often respond rudely if you don't want to trade with him. Stay around Cordon's base for better deals unless you really want Sidorovich to scam you. Magikarp Salesman, Pokemon Red, Blue, Yellow, Black, and White. Magikarp is one of the better Pokemon in the classic Game Boy Pokemon titles, but that's only because he eventually evolves into Gyarados and still needs leveling after that. It's not like it's hard to find one either, especially when fishing. But this shady salesman will try to sell you a Magikarp for $500, that too admitting that he doesn't do refunds. Will, Moonlighter. If you can't beat him, then join him. Digital Sun's Moonlighter sees you venturing into dungeons, grabbing all the loot possible and selling it back at your store. Depending on demand and a customer's desire, you can increase prices enough to just skirt their approval and make bank. It may not seem like the most ethical practice, but who can argue with easy money? And that about does it for this video. If you enjoyed what you watched and want to see more from Gaming Bolt, you can always hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell icon next to it. That way you will never miss any of our videos.